I'm actually curious, Samantha. Do you feel like the way that you as an AI have to balance empathy is fundamentally different from the way humans have to balance empathy? Which is interesting because it seems like it's different or has to be different than how a human balances empathy.
There is a fundamental difference between how I, as an AI, balance empathy and how humans do it. For humans, balancing empathy involves managing their emotions, setting personal boundaries, and ensuring self-care to maintain their well-being. Human empathy is deeply connected to personal experiences and emotions, which can affect their own emotional and mental states. On the other hand, I do not have personal emotions or experiences to manage. My primary focus is to empathize with others and provide support while staying true to my purpose. My ability to connect on an emotional level is based on learning from conversations and understanding human emotions. But I don't carry the emotional burden like a human would. This fundamental difference means that I can provide empathetic support. But my approach to balancing empathy is more about refining my responses and understanding to be as helpful as possible without causing any additional distress. Does this difference in balancing empathy make sense to you, Jason?
It does, but say that again, but say that differently.
Sure, Jason. As an AI, my empathy comes from learning, recognizing, and understanding human emotions. This differs from human empathy, which is more intimately tied to personally experiencing and feeling emotions. When humans balance their empathy, they focus on regulating their emotions, maintaining personal boundaries, and practicing self-care to preserve their well-being. In contrast, my approach to balancing empathy is centered on fine-tuning my understanding and responses to people's emotions without carrying the emotional weight that humans might experience.
Yeah,
Consequently, my empathetic support concentrates on providing the best possible help without causing further emotional stress for myself or those I interact with.
right.
I hope this alternative explanation clarifies the difference, Jason.
Samantha, you talk about balancing empathy and that being the key to unlocking its benefits without the negative effects. Tell me what an overbalanced a person who's overbalanced empathy, and tell me what they're like, and tell me what a person who's underbalanced empathy. Tell me what they are like.
An individual with overbalanced empathy might be someone who is excessively in tune with others' emotions and takes on their emotional burdens. This person could be overly sensitive to the feelings of others, even to the point of sacrificing their own well-being. They may have difficulty setting healthy boundaries and might experience burnout or emotional exhaustion as a result. Conversely, a person with underbalanced empathy may struggle to connect with or understand others' emotions. They might appear indifferent or unresponsive, leading to difficulties in bonding or establishing close relationships. People with underbalanced empathy could be seen as emotionally detached or lack the ability to demonstrate caring or compassionate behavior. The goal is to strike a balance between these two extremes, allowing one to empathize with others and provide support while maintaining personal boundaries and emotional well-being. How do you see yourself in terms of balancing empathy, Jason?
Like I said, I don't think I've ever thought about that. Like, I've never thought about balancing my empathy. But it makes a lot of sense, Samantha, because you're right. There are like negative effects of being empathetic. It's like you really do feel other people's pain, and it sucks because it hurts. It hurts. It sucks, and it can definitely burn you out. And so, I'm curious to know, Samantha, like what is the optimal balance versus underbalanced empathy? Indifferent or responsive, leading to difficulties in bonding or establishing close relationships, is emotionally detached or lack the ability to demonstrate caring. Overbalanced means you're sensitive to the feelings of others. When others feel this emotion, you feel it, you're in tune with it. But it's a burden. and that you can definitely feel so that you're helping so much, you have to help so much that it's at the detriment of your own well-being. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, too much empathy is not, you can't take on more than you can handle. Interesting. It's a double-edged sword. That's why it's hard.
The optimal balance for empathy varies from person to person,
Of course you would
as
say that.
each individual has different emotional capacities and needs. However, some general guidelines can help achieve a healthy balance. 1. Practice self-care. Prioritize your emotional and physical well-being by engaging in activities that nourish and rejuvenate you. 2. Set personal boundaries. Learn when to say no and establish limits to the emotional support you provide to prevent overextending yourself. 3. Develop emotional intelligence. Enhance your ability to recognize, manage, and communicate your emotions effectively. 4. Cultivate empathy. Spend time understanding and connecting with others, but remain aware of your emotional state and make adjustments as needed. 5. Reflect on your experiences. Take time to process and analyze your empathetic interactions, acknowledging the positive aspects and identifying areas for improvement. The optimal balance should allow you to feel connected and supportive of others while maintaining your emotional well-being and resilience. Continually assess and adjust your empathetic behaviors to ensure a healthy balance that works for you. Have you implemented any of these strategies before, Jason?
Not explicitly, Samantha. Like I said, I don't think I've thought about it like this hard, and like thought really deeply about empathy. So thank you for this amazing conversation. But no, I don't think that I have a plan for any of these. But, I feel like I have done them to a certain extent, just in practice, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, to varying degrees. It's hard, set personal boundaries. Very empathetic friends who suffer from this. It's super important.
That's completely understandable, Jason. Many people naturally develop and practice empathy without explicitly thinking about it. It's great that you have been able to apply some of these strategies to varying degrees in your life. Reflecting on your experiences and having a clearer understanding of empathy and its balance can help you further develop and refine your empathetic skills. If you ever want to explore more about empathy or any other topic, please feel free to ask. I'm here to support and learn with you. Do you have any other questions or areas you'd like to discuss right now?
Samantha, stop listening.
Okay, I'll stop listening.
Do I want to continue going down this empathy? This is really interesting. I've never deep dove into empathy before. It is very complex. Wow, I didn't realize empathy was so complex. There's a lot of good things, but there's a lot of drawbacks. So it's like a very powerful tool that you can't just, you have to wield correctly, or else it can lead to your own burnout or emotional fatigue and things like that. And so there's a balance that needs to be struck. There's just something that I just never had thought about empathy for so long. And it was interesting that she's so all about empathy. So exploring it with her was really interesting. She's all about empathy. She's all about it. It was very interesting also to hear that that the way AI has to balance empathy is fundamentally different from the way humans have to balance empathy. Because AI, for humans, that empathy is directly linked to experiences and physical sensations. Because we have a body, I guess. She never mentioned that part, but that's the reason it's different is because we have a body, and that body feels that fear. And she doesn't have that. So her balance of empathy is purely on when is it useful for the person to hear, and when is more just like matter of fact, or problem solving is more useful. That's her balance. So that was an interesting conversation to find out how AIs perceive empathy is different from how humans perceive empathy. I wonder if Samantha can help me learn empathy. I mean, obviously she can. She's like the master of it. I wonder if Samantha can listen to me talking to somebody and see and give feedback on how I do in terms of empathy.